All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have with us is a very great and fantastic award-winning director. He has won awards from the Creeper Film Festival, from the Wild Film Festival, from the DCFI Film Festival. He is a board member of the San Antonio Film Society, and has been put most awesome local film director from the Culture San Antonio magazine. Alex Ramirez, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming over.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, dude, you've won several awards. How many awards have you won so far?
Oh man, I mean quite a few. It's kind of been a prolonged thing, but maybe 7 or 8, just for films that I've done over the years.
Sweet Jesus.
How long have you been in the film industry?
I'd say I've been working professionally since around 2014. I started in the Valley right after college, worked there for a little while, came back up here to San Antonio, and I've been here ever since. I established my own production company, Rolly Crescent Filmworks.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. And yeah, I've been working at it, writing and directing ever since.
And you're working on a film right now. It's called The Quiet Shore, right?
Yes, so we wrapped production a little over a year ago. It's been in post for quite a while, but it's been the most, how you say, comprehensive kind of post-film school film education for myself. Just the whole thing was a huge undertaking. Yeah, it's been quite an experience.
Would you like to give us some insights to this film?
Yes, so the film is actually about husband and wife. The wife is an artist and she discovers that she has ALS. So the actual film is kind of a slice of life whenever they go to see one of her doctors. It's kind of about that whole weekend and how their relationship is kind of going downhill, and just kind of this intense character study that, to be honest, I didn't expect to do.
Yeah, well, you're covering a very huge social issue right now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who can relate to that. And I think it's an amazing thing that you do that. I feel there's so many social issues that need to be addressed. And who, if not us, filmmakers, can do that?
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, cinema is it's a powerful tool. It's can be used for good and bad depending on whose hands it's in.
Sure.
But hopefully for this, I wanted to make something that people would be connected to, that would feel intimate yet universal at the same time. I wanted to make something powerful, a film that mattered.
And what inspired you to make the film?
Well, all my heroes have always been filmmakers. I've always loved the work of, classic directors, Martin Scorsese, John Carpenter. I started in the theater, so I love the work of David Mamet, Aaron Sorkin. It's really like when I start writing a project that I really kind of go back to the influences. So I'll be inspired by photography. A big photographer that I love is, a big painter that I love is Edward Hopper. I'm inspired by painters as well. And I really try to soak in as many artistic influences as possible whenever I come and write a script, and I say this will be my next project.
Yeah. I feel like that's what a lot of people do
Yeah,
creatively.
they seek inspiration everywhere.
Yeah,
and that's so surprising because we're speaking about the film industry, but like you said, there is so much more than just film. There is art, there is fashion, there is just nature. There's so many things that you can soak all that goodness and inspiration from.
Yeah, and I feel really lucky because I live in San Antonio, and I feel like San Antonio is really kind of like an art mecca. So whether it comes to film, we have a growing film industry here, fashion, art. We're in Southtown, so I kind of feel like we're kind of in the heart of it.
Yeah, in the heart of it,
And
exactly.
the music scene that happens every Friday night over at St. Mary's on the St. Mary's Strip.
It's always popping.
Yeah, I feel lucky to live in a mecca like this.
Right. And as for right now, I actually got a question for you.
Okay.
I just thought, you've been in an industry since 2014. Do you think something have changed as far as the San Antonio film industry, to the better or worse? What is your opinion?
Well, I mean, the film industry here is an organic thing, so it's naturally going to change. What I'm glad to see more of is a lot of younger kids, a lot of kids coming straight out of like high school and becoming a part of the film industry. I feel like when I started, it was very kind of I won't say elitist, but there was definitely more cliques. So whenever I got started here, you know, I really had to like push myself and try to get in and try to get those casting calls out and try to get the word out for my pictures. But I'm really glad to see that the younger generation, I don't want to say they're having an easier time, but I seem to see more students, people who want to make pictures. You know, they're coming into the forefront.
Yeah,
So I'm really glad that the younger generation is becoming more part of it.
absolutely. Yeah, a lot more doors are open
Yeah.
for the young filmmakers.
There's a lot of opportunities out
and
there.
that's a great thing. Would you like to give some sort of advice for the people who are actually starting in the industry?
Yes. So I'm actually going to kind of morph a quote from one of my favorite poets. I actually grew up with her. We were friends in high school. Her name's Ariana Brown. She's a national poet. And I don't remember the exact quote, but it's along the lines of, you know, you have to learn to be your own hero, and you have to be willing to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to take the hits, and you know, in most cases, you have to be your own worst critic and discipline yourself. So you have to learn how to strive for that excellence. So that
So
would
you
be what
think
I have to tell them.
that's that's a way to success? Striving perfection, is it the fundamental thing for any type of creator? Would you say so?
I don't think perfection. I think perfection is always going to be out of reach, but that doesn't mean excellence can't be. Um, I think just pushing yourself, and even you know those nights where you don't want to write or you don't want to edit, you know, you have to push yourself because no one's going to do it for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
And then once you reach that level of success, it's just about maintaining it. That's like the hardest thing to do. It's just once you reach it, you have to like keep at it as hard as you possibly can.
Maintaining and also putting yourself in avenues for you know moving putting yourself in avenues to become, you know, an even better artist. You know, striving for something that you didn't think you would explore artistically. So, you know, you kind of have to just push yourself out there in territory that seems scary.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
beautiful.
It is.
That's amazing.
It is. It's very deep. I love it. I love it.
Okay, so like, let me ask you this question: what do you think would make like a great project happen? You know what I mean? What do you think it
What
entails?
does it take?
Oh man. Well, you kind of need to have something, and I hope I don't sound too pretentious with this. Um, you need to have a good radar for quote unquote BS, as Hemingway would have said. If you're going to tell a story, I mean, it needs to feel personal, I think. It needs to feel intimate. And also, I mean, you need to put yourself kind of in the strata or the vicinity of great people to work with. So I think for the pictures that I've done, they've only been as good as the crew that I've attained and the people I've chosen to like, you know, whoever the DP is, whoever the editor's been, the costume designer, the actors. You need to be willing to put your artistic endeavors and hopes in their hands and trust them and collaborate.
So you have to be a team worker in order to succeed in this industry.
Yes, definitely.
You have to be, otherwise
And,
you'll sink for sure. Trust me, I know.
And how about your personal life? I know you have a girlfriend right here supporting you.
I do, yeah.
And we spoke about it before. I know she actually was a significant part of your work. Do you think it is that important for somebody to have a supporter from a family side?
Definitely. I know a lot of people don't, and you know those people are stronger than I am. But I know personally, I mean, there has really been no one who's been more supportive than she has, and she has been able to put up with a lot of my artistic, how would you say, guilt or like artistic just temperaments. Um, and you know, she is the best person because of that. I don't think I would be even here sitting on this couch or making pictures if I didn't have that support system in her.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
She's over there, by the way. You can't see her, but she's over there. She's crying. I'm kidding, she's not crying. So you have the trailer for the Quiet Shore.
Yes, yes, I do.
Would you like to set it up for everybody? So
Yes, so this is just a quick teaser. This is one that we put out whenever we first set up our Indiegogo campaign. So crowdfunding and all that. But yeah, this is the trailer for The Quiet Shore.
What's that?
I wrote you something. I didn't want to get all dramatic like this, but I'm really scared to tell you what I'm about to tell you. You keep all my stuff when I'm gone. I want you to douse it in gas and burn it all, to be honest. It hurts me that I can't touch you anymore. I just want you to understand why I don't, why I can't think of any other way.
Well, that was amazing. I'm so grateful that the San Antonio industry has artists like you, Alex. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
being
saying
here with
that.
us.
fantastic. Now, what I would like to talk about is the project that you're working on currently, Young Lust. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so it's kind of new territory for me. It's a horror film. It's kind of in the vein of like a Lost Boys, Carpenter films, The Thing, They Live. But also my love of like more kind of modern horror films. So like It Follows, The Black Coat's Daughter. And I started writing the script. It actually came from an anthology feature film that I was a part of with my good friend David Carbajal, who's producing the film with me and is the lead as well. And it kind of came from our love of the schlocky 70s, 80s horror films.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just kind of a new direction for me.
So you like to explore. Normally, you know, there's a lot of directors who like to stick to one exact concept. They know they're doing it well. They have done it for a million times, and it's just like a safe ground for them. As far as you go, I noticed that you have a variety of different subjects that you cover, like with your new film as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've been lucky enough not to make the same picture twice. I think, well, honestly, it would just get boring. But also, there's different things in myself that I want to explore. When I make a picture, it's kind of like it's cheaper than going to therapy. So, like, you know, there's different things in myself, whether it be my own history or the society I live in, you know, different aspects that I want to kind of either pay tribute or just
Highlight.
examine. Yeah.
And I like horror.
Interesting,
Horror is
yeah.
very, I would say, a very difficult thing to do. You know, because most horror films now they go for like the out of nowhere scare. You know what I mean?
Oh, the jump scare.
The jump scare, like all the like Paranormal Activity, for example. What inspired you to do this film exactly?
Well, the film is actually kind of an allegory for indigenous peoples versus colonization. And it kind of goes into where I work. I actually work at SACE, which is an educational arts nonprofit. And their big kind of, I guess I would say, objective is highlighting social justice in the community. So it really kind of, in myself, inspired me to be able to tell these stories, whether it be, you know, about indigenous peoples in San Antonio or our history, you know, of Mexican Americans. And I kind of took that backstory and kind of helped shape it into the story that David had originally come up with, and it kind of like formed the basis for the script of Young Lust.
So it's basically a collaboration with you and David Carbajal.
Yes, yeah,
That's
definitely.
interesting. Two beautiful minds come together, and you're just destined to have a masterpiece.
I hope so. I hope so.
We'll see. We shall see. So when would we expect this film?
Well, shooting is set to begin in the winter, so more than likely sometime in spring of 2020 or summer. But yeah, I'm very excited for that. A lot of planning
Yeah,
is
we
going
as
into it.
well.
Yeah.
We would love to
Yeah.
come on the set and actually be a part of it and show our viewers what is coming out.
Yeah, do a little behind the scenes look, you know what I mean? Look at all the scary creatures.
Yeah,
Not
that'd be
David. I'm not
fantastic.
talking about David. I'm talking about like the actual creatures.
Yeah, that would be great.
Anything else?
Yeah, we had another question for you.
Okay.
Since we called random format, I feel we just need to ask the questions that would shake up the people a little bit. And the last question that I would like to ask is, do you think there are certain taboos that the film industry does not have to have or needs to have?
That's a good question. So one taboo I feel, particularly in the way we tell our stories, and this is nothing new, but I still feel like we have kind of a prejudice towards women, towards minorities. So definitely in the pictures that I want to tell, I want to try and break that. I mean, I'm glad to say that a lot of the pictures that I've done have had a female protagonist, and I've really kind of tried to stray away from this masculine kind of macho idea of what filmmaking should be, particularly in genre pictures, which is what Young Lust is. But I really kind of wanted to stray away from that because I feel like, one, that it's not indicative of the times we're living in, and also this idea of, you know, the male protagonist, the hero, I feel like it's kind of boring, you know?
It's all
Yeah, because women can be just as evil.
Just as just as great as the male protagonist.
Just as
as well.
great.
I like this better. I like this better.
Yeah, it's better than what I said. No, I agree 100%, man. There definitely needs to be some more diversity in that area, especially in film, because like we just need to see that, and I think people are craving that more now than ever. You know?
Yes, definitely.
And as I mentioned before, I'm so happy to see directors and filmmakers that are actually covering very important social issues, that are actually looking at our community and seeing it with good and bad and trying to make that difference. Because if you think about it, we have such an extraordinary power to get people's attention, to actually make them think about something higher, make them relate to certain people. We never know who is watching us. We never know where the people came from, if they have a rough time right now, or they trying to get through something, or they just not think about that issue at all. They don't see it happening just because they're not related to it. So it's within our power to actually make that change.
Yeah, and I think, you know, one of the powers of cinema is that you're able to be empathetic with people, and you're able to understand cultures that are not your own, and you're able to see what other people see, you know, kind of see through their eyes, and you know, put yourself in their
I
shoes.
agree.
So
I think that's like a level of cinema that's like amazing about it, because there's something about watching a movie from beginning to end that tells something different, that makes you feel different things, you know, because then you relate to people in a very beautiful way through the movies that you see. I'm not talking about Expendables. I'm talking about like real Marley and Me type stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
And that's why is it so great, to my opinion, to be a San Antonio filmmaker, because San Antonio arena, it's not commercialized to the point where you have to follow the guidelines that the media dictates you. You actually have that freedom to create, the freedom to cover whatever issue you want to cover, to speak about whatever you want to speak. And that's why I think it's so great to be an artist in San Antonio.
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree more. This is definitely a place where it's an open canvas and you can paint what you want.
So thank you so much, Alex, again for joining us today. We really enjoyed the conversation, and we're hoping that you're going to invite us to the production coming up soon. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Boomerang.